April 24th, 2024. JMO, what is happening? Is the world ablaze?
It's definitely one of the most inbound asked things from clients, like across the board.
What
we've
is?
seen. Of course. President Biden signs the TikTok divestment, not a ban, doesn't have to be a ban, passed the House a few weeks ago, then passed the Senate, and it was signed into action by President Biden. So now the clock is officially ticking on something.
So this has been looming for a couple of years. I feel like we've had a few scares like this before. Is TikTok being banned? Now we're really like, wow, is TikTok actually being banned in the United States?
Yes, well, it's interesting because TikTok the whole time, and they continue to refer to it as this is a ban, because to them it's effectively a ban, because all the things being asked are like they view as impossible to do on the timeline, but it doesn't have to be. And so actually we think currently the best line of sight, anything can change, and we have our very unromantic where did the attention go philosophy that we'll talk about, but right now the US is saying, hey, you guys don't need to lose your TikTok, just needs to find a new owner, just like quell our concerns about geopolitical stuff. TikTok is saying, hey guys, don't worry, we're fighting it, and you're still gonna have your TikTok because this violates the First Amendment. And investors very overtly, in ByteDance, where I think ByteDance is 60% global investor owned, including like Sequoia. People who manage large quantities of assets and have a lot to lose with a US market turmoil thing for a big investment of theirs, they're also like, we very much want this to stay in the US in some way.
When you say a lot to lose, just how much are we talking?
Well, it's interesting. ByteDance has a lot of stuff, not just TikTok. I know TikTok is at least half their global revenue.
Because I read an eye-popping statistic today in the journal that talked a little bit about the US advertising business for TikTok, which was staggeringly large. 16
to 20 billion. There's different estimates. I think it's not entirely exactly known.
Yeah, it's not exactly known, but estimates.
But call it, at 18 billion. And globally, ByteDance brought in 2023, this blew my mind, 120 billion compared to Meta, 135 billion. Like they're
neck and neck, pretty much.
And so people in ByteDance's like valuation, they equate it to like half the total value of ByteDance.
So let's take it back to when I was on the media team with you. Had we even heard of ByteDance? Musically was in our minds a little bit. I think we did a couple test buys there. But like say it's 2018, would you have ever seen this coming? It's been a quick ascent.
2018, maybe 2016 I remember was like when, because I have Gary's stats on all this TikTok, which is interesting because we have his Musically stats in Tracer, our tech tool, Scrapes Organic, that go back to 2016. So it's Musically stuff Gary was posting then. Then there's a long hiatus because TikTok, ByteDance, who
the duets, those are the big thing.
Took them over and then it reignites. So 2018, we would know about TikTok probably like, which, is it ByteDance or is it like wasn't really known? More back then was like WeChat, Weibo, like that was the hotness then.
Yeah, for sure. I know we were thinking about that specifically for Asian markets or Asian consumers more abroad, but I think my point being, like, there's been extremely fast ascent because Meta has long been like the digital ad buyers platform of choice.
The velocity at which it's caught up in all regards, and including ad revenue, where it's after Meta, it's our second largest social channel by a wide margin. Like it flew past Snapchat and Pinterest and all that had been more of a slow roll. And obviously, the 20 billion or so forth.
Okay, so let's get to present day. We're getting a ton of inbounds from our clients, from our CMOs, from our media leaders, from our brand friends, just saying, what are we supposed to do here? What are the key things, first, that they need to know? And second, how should they be thinking about this?
Yeah. I mean, the big one, and Gary was texting a bunch of the leadership this morning, is always be prepared and be like as minimally exposed as possible.
Diversify.
Don't be like all in on any one platform. If you haven't already been doing this, like if you have a TikTok strategy, you should be YouTube Shorts. Same thing, if not more resources. Facebook and Instagram Reels, all over it. Like uniformity, what's your presence? The more TikTok centric it is, the more, again, depending on the outcome.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, in the copycat era, they're all very similar.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Yes, there's nuances.
There's basically TikTok on LinkedIn now. I've noticed that too.
Amazon Inspire, Snap has theirs. And so then, say TikTok goes away, snap of the fingers, the attention goes somewhere, but where did it go? And most people assume, we think rightfully so, that like Reels has a lot to win. YouTube Shorts has a lot to win.
A lot of distribution already.
Yeah, but like in what ratio? Does it get subsumed in CTV? Like know where it goes, and know, is it as good a buy as TikTok was? You know, because say Microsoft buys them and then it goes into their ad suite and a lot of stuff breaks. That's we view that differently in day trading, attention, media buying than TikTok's pretty slick ads tools today. So just because the attention goes somewhere else doesn't necessarily mean you should just keep that investment the same, but you got to know where it goes and be prepared.
Okay, so you've got to know where it's going, you've got to be prepared, and you have to be sort of open to flexing between your channels, right? If your strategy was entirely TikTok, you'd be in a bad spot right now, but if you've diversified, if you're creating content for all these different platforms, you can be ready to sort of pivot and potentially take advantage of if there is a little bit of shakeup, because whenever there's uncertainty, there's usually an opportunity.
Totally. Yeah, like, you know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, the second best time is today. It's like, the more you can be, not just prepared when it happens, but like, doing the things, like your YouTube Shorts posting has dramatically increased as of today.
Yep.
And so when it comes, you're that much further ahead, not just in terms of your ways of working, but like your scale, your chops.
So what are you hearing from clients?
Honestly, there's been so much, you alluded to this earlier, like so many headlines and drama.
Yes.
That
is it a little boy cry wolf to some people?
Yeah, like, and you would think, oh wow, like brands, these things come up where it's just like, stability risk, brand, like, but it's happened so many times and it's been so many back to earth things that it kind of is like, hey, until it actually happens, and it's like at the government level, everyone's business as usual.
Right. Some people are being smart, they're doing scenario planning, especially if TikTok is a big driver for them, not just of sort of earned attention, but also of their media buys, right? People have seen a lot of success there, they might be doing some scenario planning, which I think is a great idea. But also a lot of people like wait till something actually happens. As of now, we're sort of in a waiting game.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, a lot of it's tied up in who will be the next president, and that could impact things.
Absolutely.
Everyone has I wonder what the Vegas odds are on this right now. I'm sure you can bet on it. But
I'm sure you can.
Creators is also really interesting.
Yeah.
But like, if you're a creator and you're TikTok centric, where you're more likely to be TikTok centric or reel centric as a creator, than brands, which a lot of brands, they just spent.
Yeah.
It's a bit more uniform.
Absolutely. Actually, funny enough, TikTok actually sponsored the Ad Age A-List award gala last night, which was hilarious because I expected a lot of people to be like, oh my God, TikTok, because at the same time a lot of our brands are asking us, like, should we stop being on TikTok? All the people are celebrating, taking pictures under the TikTok logo. So to me, that was kind of a sign that everything's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
And the TikTok sales representatives have, of course, reached out to us to, you know,
they're
assuage
very
some
on
fears.
top of it. Yeah. But yeah, like all signs point to if a divestment stays, if they fight it and it stays, if it just goes away. In the last administration, there was a real push around this, and then it kind of fizzled out. Like anything can happen. What can you do this second to prepare? Diversify is undeniable, and have some hypotheses. We have ours around where it'll go.
And call JMO if you have any questions. Thanks for tuning in.